Good day, and thank you for joining us on this journey through your options for financing your next property. My name is Natalie, and you can reach me on the contact details below. During this presentation, we will be discussing all your options with regards to financing. We have come a long way from where you would have to have gone into your local branch to be interviewed for a bond. Amongst the topics we will discuss, you will find comparisons drawn between all the major institutions, vacant land financing and building loans, and the differing requirements when you are self-employed versus earning a fixed income. We also look at the benefits awarded to first-time buyers and dig deeper into FLISP. Along with all these, we discuss your affordability and guide you through the process. Our bond originator of choice is Annelie from Mortgage Max. Even though she is based in the Vaal, she delivers a trusted and reliable service to any and all. Annelie ensures that all our potential buyers are pre-qualified and then goes out to all the major banks in order to negotiate the best possible rate and outcome for each buyer. When a client is blacklisted, she guides the client through rehabilitation and assists in any possible way. But the most important job she has is to ensure that all our offers on insolvent properties are accompanied by an AIP or grant prior to the trustee's acceptance. This way we ensure that the 10% deposit held in trust will not be lost due to financing issues. The first step to making your offer on your new home is to confirm affordability and to make sure that there are no unforeseen obstacles in your way. A pre-qualifier is done. This is a free service offered by all bond originating companies and require only 4 simple steps. A copy of your South African ID is required in the best quality possible. Your latest pay slips dated the last 3 or 6 months, depending on your income status. Bank statements for that same period, which could also double up as proof of residence. And last but not least, a signed consent form allowing the consultant access to your credit score. You have now officially started your journey. When buying a home or property in your personal capacity and when you are permanently employed with a fixed income, applying for a bond is a very simple process. The ante is upped when you purchase in the name of a business trust or even when you are simply self-employed. Commission earners are also evaluated more stringently than fixed income earners. When self-employed, you will require additional documents during your home loan or bond application process. On top of the normal ID, proof of residence and the signed OTP, you will also need the following: letters from your auditor showing income and shareholding percentage, respectively, the previous 6 months' worth of personal and business banking statements, up-to-date and signed management accounts, as well as the last 2 years of audited and signed financials for your business. All these documents are mandatory when submitting your signed bond application. Another aspect that needs to be considered when planning for your financing on your new home is your affordability. We have here the latest affordability table as well as the bond repayment table issued in 2020. Your bond consultant will also be able to advise on the latest if a new version is published. Affordability considers your monthly income and then indicates the maximum monthly installment that may be allocated to you. You will then be able to see what price range you will be likely to afford and purchase in, either alone or as a double income household, where you would simply add up the amount that you and your partner earn. Once your affordability amount has been determined, you can then see what your monthly bond repayment will look like at various interest rates. The choice between a fixed and variable interest rate is not as simple as it sounds. When applying for a bond, the rate issued will automatically be a variable rate based on various factors, including your affordability and credit score, which in turn is determined by the way you conduct your finances. Of course, the repo rate and ultimately the prime lending rate also affects your variable interest rate, as it will fluctuate as the repo rate varies. The repo rate is the rate at which the commercial bank loans money from the South African Reserve Bank, and the prime lending rate is based on the repo rate but higher, as the bank needs to also cover operating costs and is ultimately the party taking the most risk in granting a loan to you. When granting you a fixed rate, the financial institution runs a greater risk for loss of income when the repo rate goes up considerably, but you are at a fixed low rate. A fixed interest rate can only be negotiated once the bond has already been registered. This is at the same point at which the deeds office completed the transfer of deed into your name. The fixed rate will also only be valid for up to 5 years, after which you will have to renegotiate, and again, depending on the repo rate at that point in time, you might end up getting a much higher rate for the next 5 years. Reduced repayment basically refers to the reduction in your amortization period on your bond, and ultimately reduction in the interest paid on your loan over the loan term. By simply paying a little extra than expected every month, you can drastically affect the interest accumulated on your bond. The Reduced Repayment Factors PDF shows the change potential in your bond repayment schedule. One example is shown in this slide based on a R1 million loan over a 20-year period at an interest rate of 7.25. Your case will obviously be based on your own values, but the effect of an increased monthly payment is evident. You can also simply transfer lump sums into your bond as and when available, especially if you have an access bond with the same bank at which you have your main checking account. Every financial institution is different. A bank is operated as a business, and just like any other business, their main objective is to make money. As a result, they all have differing money-making models that they follow. Sure, they adapt and remodel as the times change, and also respond to the financial climate in the country, as well as observing the markets. But they will always differ in opinion as to what and how they offer it. The best way to compare the major financial institutions with one another is by looking at the loan-to-value matrix. This matrix is updated and distributed as and when required. Your bond originator will be able to supply you with the latest and greatest version at the time of your application. When you look at the loan-to-value matrix, you will easily be able to distinguish between the products offered by various institutions and what applies to you. The main features are offerings with regards to existing clients versus new clients, full-time employed versus self-employed, affordable housing, FLISP, and what to do and expect with vacant land purchasing. Finance Linked Individual Subsidy Program, FLISP. This is a subsidy available to a specific group of purchasers based on the following. Having ever received a government housing subsidy? Do you earn between a certain range? Are you a South African citizen or do you have a residency permit? Are you over 18 and legally competent? And is your AIP in place? This once-off subsidy amount ranges roughly between 27,000 and 120,000, and FLISP may be used for the following. To buy an existing, new or old residential property, to buy a vacant serviced residential stand, to build a residential property, or to build on a tribal land available through permission to occupy. Additional requirements include birth certificates and South African IDs of all financial dependents, proof of foster children and guardianship, marriage certificates, union certificates, and cohabitating affidavits. Questioning is the ability to organize our thinking around what we don't know. And in the words of Richard Feynman, I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned.